Hi everyone. We have Sudarshan Suji ji from Reliance Foundation today. He's the Chief Development Officer of Reliance Foundation. And when I started working on, how we should do this 30 minutes chat, I was just not able to wrap my head around the kind of diverse experience he brings to the table. So he has worked in National Dairy Development Board. He has worked in Society for Promotion of Wasteland Development, Reliance Industries, SOS Children, and also Save the Children India. Um, so his experience is actually NGOs, government, corporate foundation, and INGOs. So that's like an illustrative 37 years of career, doing phenomenal work. And I do feel very privileged to have you on board with us today in our first forum. You have really made it very special, not just for me, I'm sure for all of us. Okay, I will quickly. So I had a couple of questions, broader questions, just looking at the kind of audience we have in the room today. I wanted to start with entrepreneurship, and especially what kind of role you feel social entrepreneurs, and a lot of us, I have a lot of them in our room today, happily. So I think that is something I really wanted to talk about. Yeah, let's just maybe begin with a little about your journey and social entrepreneurship. How do you think that can bring change?
Thank you. I also realized that between you and going home and the stumbling block. So with all the samosas stuffing. So Kamini, first of all, thank you. I think Hand Purpose is a wonderful idea, and I'm equally glad to be supportive and encouraging it with my so best wishes that there will be no such forums. I bypassed the part one of question in which you asked about me or my journey. I think it'll just probably bore the people. So
I know a lot of them, it's fascinating.
I think very briefly I would say that and there's no claim to fame in my education which gave me the license to do what I'm doing. I learned by doing things, and I started as a frontline worker and rose through the ranks. So there's nothing that I can't do, from sticking envelopes to printing things to, mobilizing communities at the village level to developing training module, whatever it is, things that have got to be done. There's no work that is too little, too small. And even today, I'm very happy, at any point to be a hands-on person. And, previously, the person who was reading the last poem mentioned the word gratitude. So life is about gratitude. I'm very content and happy and grateful that I've got my chance to do things and be at the same time be useful to others. I won't make any pretensions. My choice of doing things is very selfish. So there is no larger purpose which says I'm doing everything for somebody else. No. I'm doing it because this is what I can do. And this is what makes me most happy. And should any youngster come and ask me, I would tell them also to not forget to be selfish. Selfishness gives a sense of purpose to get up and do things tomorrow. And my own school of thought is if you are selfless, you might give up things very easily. You can say, Kal se ye nahi jamta, I will do something else. So that's the part. About entrepreneurship, it's always been a struggle for me because I have myself not been an entrepreneur. I've been an employee in an organization. But I have loved, backed and enabled hundreds of such journeys, first in the dairy industry and then various other walks of life. So why did I choose this thing of being an employee while the whole idea of entrepreneurship excites me? I was trying to think that do I get busy in my own survival and doing things which I like, or do I like the idea of enabling 100,000 or infinite number of other people? So I chose the second one, and in the process, I thought I'll start spending the money of wherever the resources are. So I look at resources like water to flow from wherever there is surplus to wherever there is deficit. And in terms of entrepreneurship, the role in promoting or encouraging is in various facets. First of all, I think every entrepreneur has to have a risk appetite, and I think people should not be afraid to fall. I look at people like me to be watching out for them as they stumble and as they fall, not stop them from falling, but be around to pick up and not be judging that what happened. But once you pick up, then say कि अब क्या करना है. It's not about ending or stopping a journey, but it's a constant sticking on to journey. So I may not be the best, let's say, person to answer on that count. So I'm purely an enabler and a co-journey man.
I totally. So I think I missed reframing that. I actually meant, so when I was doing my research about, how we can all benefit from your experience, the sheer, what you mentioned about, enabling more people who can do good, and then, it just amplifies what impact you are creating, through your work. I think that's what I'm gathering, that's what we are trying to do at And Purpose also, we can enable more change. We can't bring the change all of these beautiful people are bringing. We can only support them in some way. I also wanted to talk to you about how so your work at Reliance Foundation, and most CSR frameworks still chase metrics over meaning. How do you think at Reliance Foundation you have challenged the idea of CSR as charity, but instead you have positioned it as a serious lever for social equity?
So I first of all, I think organizations are means to larger ends. Wherever you belong as an organization, and you can put boundaries around yourself as to saying कि why I can't do this या क्यों ऐसे ही करना है, or you can challenge every boundary. So while in this stint as Chief Development Officer, I have been for about 6 months with Reliance, but I don't know how many would know this, but I was the first employee of Reliance Foundation, and I worked there for about 12 years. I was the one who helped conceptualize, start, and build its first part. And that part is the one which is relevant to your question, which was that we CSR is a term that came afterwards. The foundation began before that. So I think social responsibility is a question of a conscious choice of your heart. It's not a law which makes you socially responsible. Law तो बहुत कुछ बोलता है. तो बोलते हैं झूठ नहीं बोलना. You say follow the road, traffic law. There's so many things. It doesn't mean that those things happen. What makes them happen is where is your personal disposition, where is a living organization, what's the kind of culture you build. So if I had to narrate, when we began Reliance Foundation, we kind of, as a matter of principle, got every new employee. We started to spend at least 1 month in the house of a rural marginal farmer, rural marginal household. Meaning you wake up, sleep, and do everything that happens in their life cycle. Then you start realizing that when you wake up, there is no switch around your bedside where you can switch on and say light aa jayega. You can't go into the kitchen and switch on the gas, chalo chai bana lete. You have a whole routine to cope up. You don't have a toilet guaranteed where you go. So when you spend 1 month like that, I mean, I don't know, there's a time kind of bound, but I thought 1 month is enough to sensitize or condition people. Yeah. So 1 month or a reasonable time should be able to sensitize people and make them grounded. Whatever else later in their life they do, whether you become a banker or continue with an NGO or become a marketeer or whatever, but you don't forget the lived reality of somebody who's in marginal condition. So I think that is what is generally required. We need wherever we go. In my journey, let's say in various works, and then as a role as CEO or later now here, CEO and Save and then here, I think these are titles, they come and they go. But if your feet are on the ground, you don't forget that what was the purpose for which you got in. So that reality, I think, makes a difference. And I would encourage everybody that whatever else you're doing, if you've not felt the lived reality of the people living in the margins in India, which unfortunately is a sizable number, then, or let me put it this way, that you can't go around with solutions if you've never sensed the problem. You're trying to put a square peg on a round hole there.
So I think when you said this, I also had I was just thinking, enabling communities, and what you just mentioned in your last line, right? Enabling communities that they drive change. I think that is something which, when I think of a problem, I feel if we do not create epicenters of change, we cannot change our country. How do you think bringing change through communities-driven change, or in a capacity building way? How do you think? What do you think about that?
So I'll be candid because that's the only way I know to talk everywhere. So I'll put it straightforward. I think first of all, the people outside a lived reality have to be humble. When you ask me a question, what would I want to do somewhere? I actually place myself as the smallest unit. I am not God. I'm just part of a journey. There's a whole community which has lived and continues living their context every year. So my motto is that learn to listen and then listen to learn. So I think the starting point of any journey for us in engagement in the development context is to listen to people around you. Just feel the ground around. People being poor or in the margin does not mean that they are poor in their minds or poor in their capability or thought. It's circumstances which have brought them there. And therefore, almost everywhere, the internal capabilities to harness them, bring them out. And then, particularly for the people, those who are gathered here today as a social entrepreneurs or social NGOs, I would say we need our exit plan. Unless that is there, we start mistaking ourselves to be gods and be permanently in situation, which means you don't let people grow. And like I said, I'll be candid. I think that's a very feudal mindset, and that's how many times we work at our home. We don't let our children ever grow up and do their experimenting for themselves. I think they should be allowed. Let there be 100 different experiments, let there be 1,000 mistakes, but let each community be the drivers of their own destiny, and let us be just the catalyst to trigger those. And let's be humble enough to accept itna hi hamara kaam hai, isse zyada nahi.
Another word that now I picked up, when you say children, youth and purpose is for us something which we really want to focus on. And we have a lot of young volunteers here today. They are people studying from they are studying environment, they are studying politics. What do you think about youth that is driving change, young entrepreneurs, young workforce?
So I think when we say when we look at population, that 50% is youth, and the phrases used now is demographic dividend or youth as a dividend. I look at it that there are equal chances of being, nothing is a ready dividend. It's only when you bring equity that the dividend comes. So it could be dividend or it could be the biggest liability. I think to be part of the dividend, first of all, I think people like me have to step out of the way of the youth. we have to not be telling them हमको पता है, मैं बताता हूँ क्या करना है. We have to say जो करना है करो. हमने भी वही किया था, जो करना है करेंगे. Now you guys there are plenty of you, and the whole environment around you is enabling. You know, I didn't have the Google Navigator and other Google Maps or anything to, you know, navigate even within a small town. You've got the whole globe resting in your house within one instrument, you know, you have everything. So information, knowledge is a great power, and I think youth are on top of it. And the worst thing I would be doing is to prescribe to them. I mean, I've lived my mistakes. I would say that even if I try to do it, don't listen to me. You know, you go ahead, do your thing. I think you're far more courageous. I'm afraid to press any buttons कि क्या गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. And you see them, you know, they just go click, 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 click. So I think that's the generation. So I think
Wonderful, sir. I think, okay, so I'm just picking up words, you know, and from this conversation, and then things pop up in our mind. We talk about gender quite a lot. For instance, when we were designing and focus forums, this one in March, it is the month of Women's Day. It was a very conscious choice for us to not have, you know, one woman, all women panel. The idea was to have as much equal participation as we can. And Women's Day for us is not something that we want to celebrate one day, but every single day. And we have been very lucky to build a tribe of, you know, great women entrepreneurs or women who are working in climate. In your journey, and I ask this because I also have spoken to two of your female colleagues, and they have said so much about, you know, how the work culture has been working with you and the kind of flexibility and agility that you give. How do you think that for women who are working in impact, how do you know, what do you think about that, and how we can advance more of our participation in the workforce?
I think first of all, the men have to get used to yielding space. You know, that's the starting point. So I wouldn't say it's about women, it's more about men. And I think we have not been trained. We grow up in patriarchy and we've not been trained to recognize, and it's like small symbolic things happen. If you're in a room, in a meeting, let's say if we have mic and somebody wants to speak, actually the man tends to grab the mic. So if you are in a leadership role, you've got to be conscious to distribute that equity or be excessively tilted toward. See, if we are working in marginality, this is also one such thing that wherever you have somebody whose voice or agency or identity is not coming forward, I think it calls for affirmative action, and I think it calls it to a point of a fault, meaning that if you are in an organization design, often I have seen that you may declare that this is a position for which we would encourage women candidates to apply, or leadership may we want more women. Great statement. But are you willing to say, मैं ये पोस्ट तब तक नहीं भरूंगा जब तक सही पर्सन नहीं मिलेगा? That I think will change this thing. Otherwise you are saying that despite all the talent in India, I mean, how can you buy an excuse कि मिले नहीं इसलिए अब हम those are like, there has to be some things which are non-negotiable, and I think that is where we need more commitment. And I think, I mean, I constantly often struggle, in my conscience, though whoever you spoke to have been very charitable, I think I fell short. I fell short, and most of us men fall short in actually yielding space. There is this natural thing of wanting to take over, wanting to manage, or wanting to solve. Small symbolic gestures where you lose that spirit. So I think we need a lot more working. Women are ready to occupy spaces. We are not yielding.
So there is this one thing which, so it literally gave me goosebumps in this morning. So what is the story behind Sudarshan Suchi? So Suchi is your wife's name. So sir's name is Sudarshan Suchi, and he has taken his wife's name. And that literally do people like you also exist? So,
First of all, I want to, for a minute, change the subject. So, Kamna has been connecting with me on the LinkedIn and on the phone and everywhere for planning this. And if you are finding that our session is very disjointed or looks a bit random, it's all my fault because I was dodging her. I was just not giving the time or a direct thing कि वैसे क्या बात करना है, what could be those questions that you ask me so that I can answer them. And so this is, despite my worst attempts, what you are seeing her to do here. So I'm thankful you are very tolerant. So I got married very early when we were 22. And in 2014, we completed 25 years of marriage. And let's say if you add courtship, it was 29 years. So which meant that I had spent more time with my wife than with my parents. And in all those years, all the material gifts which one could give each other, we had given. So I was wondering, how do I acknowledge or recognize? I said, okay, let me, instead of it, let me turn the tables and let me take her name as my second name. But let me say, thank you for doing the planning. But I tell you, it was quite a journey. And before anybody else should want to do it, you may want to think twice. Because it took me 2 years because I can't do things halfway. So I had to do it legally. I wanted to change my email ID, my PAN card, my passport, my bank account. And what happened is, जब पहले तो the government, you need a gazette notification and you needed paper advertisement. People used to see me कि क्या ऐसा गड़बड़ किया है, the guy wants to change his name. कुछ तो massive fraud and something like that. And so that happened. After I did that, the bank fellow said passport या PAN card लेकर आओ. Passport fellow said bank है या PAN card है या कुछ है. PAN card fellow said the passport और बोलाओ. So it just went around and round. And then my office, my PF, my official ID, everything. It just drove me. And the more they resisted, the more adamant I became कि यार नहीं ये तुम करना है. But let me tell you the funny side of it. So we have 2 kids, both are adults now. And so when we got married, those were the days when you needed a ration card for getting a gas connection and for getting telephone connection. You had to apply, you had to wait in line. And ration card needed marriage certificate. So my wife automatically adopted my second name, which was Srinivas then. So Sudarshan Srinivas. So she became Suchi Srinivas. By the time both our kids were born, we realized that all this surname games, actually people try to plot you which caste you are, which religion, which place, what. So both our kids we gave 2 names. We said that let them not be recognized. So when Bache had 2 names, then I got a name change. So in our family, the only person who has Srinivas' name is my wife. And when we traveled anywhere and people checked our identity, they used to wonder कि बच्चों को भगा के ले जाए. So it was quite a chaos actually. Yeah. So that's how it happened, and it works.
wonderful. So I'll just address this. I know our conversation to settle in getting Sudarshan ji to come here has been very short notice, but this is not by chance conversation. We wanted this conversation to cover what we are all talking about. We really wanted to see the leader behind, this designation, and that is what that is what makes you very special, sir. Because just the humility of being a leader that can walk the talk. I think that is something which we really wanted to cover here. And I don't know if you noticed, but I've slowly tried to make it move over from social entrepreneurship to gender and everything. I'm just trying to have a full conversation and take the best out of these few minutes that we have together. Now, going from here and just trying to put in more perspective about a lot lot of us are here, and with the lines between philanthropy, CSR, impact investing, these lines are blurring. And what we just saw in the earlier session, right, from CSR to impact finance, and what really stayed with me was that when we are trying to solve for a social problem, so whenever we used to tell people that whenever I have mentioned this to anyone that I run a social impact marketing company, first thing is, are you a non-profit, right? And I have to tell them that no, we are a for-profit social enterprise. We really want to do good, bring change, make money, be sustainable, and enable more people. Now with the lines really blurring between philanthropy, CSR, impact investing, and I'm just taking our conversation back to the role people like you play as industry leaders. What bold new financial collaborations or models excite you? For India's next wave. And I asked this. So this morning I googled how I actually did ChatGPT. How will India look as a Viksit Bharat? And I think that is something that I want to take from you in last few minutes, and then we open up for Q&A. This is what I wanted to understand from you.
So I, bulk of my life I worked with farming communities, farming collectives and livelihood. And this I had done without I or my father or grandfather ever having done farming. It means I was sitting, wanting to give solutions and all. So I decided I want to take up farming and learn farming first generation. So I took some very degraded land in Madhya Pradesh and started learning. 7 years, whatever could go wrong went wrong every year, all the time. And I was a guy who had access to the most sectoral experts. So today, I learned the hard way that experts are the most injurious to your health because they are distant from your problem and they find it quite difficult to accept that maybe there are things they don't know and उनको पसंद नहीं आता है, we don't listen to their solutions. So you're actually, so I was thinking मेरे साथ ये होता है तो the poor extreme marginal farmer who doesn't have the language, the voice and even the access to people, उनके ऊपर क्या बीतता होगा when we all decide saying हम आपको बताते हैं कि ज़िंदगी कैसे होगी. But anyway, from there to Viksit Bharat and entrepreneurial or social or profit, I learned from farming, mixed farming, sustainable agriculture, that plurality is the way of life. That you should not look at some plants as plants and others as weeds. सब कुछ चलना चाहिए. There is more and more need of NGOs, of social entrepreneurs, of corporates, of government and everybody. I would put that this is not tools, material and functions which will get us to become from aviksit to viksit. I think the viksit will come when अपना पेट के अंदर से विकसित होगा. When there are people who can be in charge of their own destiny. It can't be, I can say that आप तब विकसित होंगे जब आपके पास 1 करोड़ रुपया होगा. जब आप सोच लेंगे कि आप विकसित हैं and जब आपका capability to survive on your own है, when you are not a prisoner of circumstances, that I think is the definition of viksit. So you may get a lot of prosperity and yet remain arrested in some situation कि somebody else can snatch away that from you. So I think that the work we really need, and you use the word leader, and I think quite often nowadays, and I hope those from management schools will forgive me for saying that leadership, when it becomes a topic of a management school ka workshop, I think it is more like a factory and production. You don't produce leaders like that. Leader is situational leader. You are in a spot, you take charge, गलती होने पे भी नहीं घबराएंगे, you will keep doing things. So I think building that capability in people is what will result in the developed India or Viksit Bharat. That we believe that we will become redundant. That I will not be needed. I think will be the best testimony anyway. कि अब आप लोगों की जरूरत नहीं है. We can take care of ourselves. That's the state, which means I would say aside of all the work you are doing to solve problems, if we can work in addition to get people to believe in themselves, get people to have faith that nobody, does not have the capability of getting on top of their destiny, that they don't need to be always looking outside somewhere कि कोई और आके उनका मोक्ष लिबरेशन करेगा, नहीं होगा। वो तब तक करेंगे जब तक वो रहेंगे, फिर बाहर जाएंगे तो स्टेटस को आ जाएगा। So which means whatever issues we work with, along with it, people and people capability issues should be a part of design. You work on climate change, you work on plastics, you work on food, you work on income, you work on radio finance, but you work on people and people's capability to think and own their own solution. I at least am very obsessive about that belief.
Last few thoughts on how do you think we can bring impact at scale, and any thoughts on how so when we talk about education, health, climate, they don't work in their own silos, but they actually work intersecting each other, right? And any initiatives that you have, that you have been doing, or Reliance Foundation has been doing to just bring this impact at scale.
So I think when you look at impact at scale, it doesn't mean you have to start at scale. You have to think big. That is more an Excel sheet function. You drag and do. But what you need to do is you need to be thorough in designing. You need to look at it in a microcosm. And what is scale is plenty of things happening. Scale is not a cookie cutter model of the same thing happening everywhere. That would be a disaster. So I think from our side, I would say first of all, most of us, I hope all of us should acknowledge that life in a marginal household is not in isolation. There are no themes, topics, subject की आज मैं एजुकेशन के बारे में बात करूँगा, कल लाइवलीहुड पढ़ूँगा। सेम घर में सेम रात को सब कुछ होता है। बारिश भी उनके घर में घुसता है, बीमारी भी होता है, स्कूल का भी प्रॉब्लम आता है, लाइवलीहुड का भी आता है, इनकम का भी आता है। इमेजिन 20 of us standing in a queue। अच्छा लाइवलीहुड है, लास्ट काम ना टू कम, वो अच्छा आपको एनवायरनमेंट करना है, मैं उसको बोलता हूँ 1 घंटा उसका चाहिए। फाइनली दैट हाउस होल्ड विल से मेरे को अपने काम का भी टाइम चाहिए, थोड़ा सा कर लूँ क्या। सो आई थिंक we have to think holistically, we have to get out of our silos, and we have to be able to look at a holistic design. You ask me what is it that will take. So my aspiration is to persuade everybody to be at least capable of thinking things holistically. We may still focus saying मेरे से इतना हो सकता है, it's okay, but it doesn't stop me from साथ में मैं ये वाला भी ले आऊँगा, I know so and so, we will help you with immunization or whatever it is, transportation or building a road or connectivity. Because life, whatever can go wrong does go wrong for a marginal community. And it doesn't come as per our choice कि my thematic expertise is this. So I think holistic is a mantra I would want to persuade everybody to think about. And it does not mean that you need to do everything holistically, but you need to visualize things holistically. They will throw stones at me if you delay.
No, I'm sure everyone, this is the most quietest session we are having so far, so I'm sure people are loving it. One last thing, sir. What is your purpose?
So, first is actually I like and I want to share with all of you being called by my name, Sudarshan, and I don't require a sir or anything. My purpose, if you ask me, so my son who's 31 now, was recently saying, I am having a crisis, मेरे को clarity चाहिए कि मेरा career किस बात पे क्या ये वो करके, what are your suggestions? So I said, 31 पे तुमको ये तकलीफ हो रहा है, 60 पे मेरे को भी यही हो रहा है. I am also searching. So I said, you don't have to solve everything every day. So I don't have a smart answer for this. Actually, I wish I could say something that this is my purpose. My larger purpose is, so when I was in school and college, I was a very mediocre student, one of those who just passes and struggles and has too many things to do outside classroom. So I was none of those guys who's written on the wall, special. So that time, if I saw life, I hardly saw myself being of use and making my own livelihood. So ever since I started working, the feeling I have is of gratefulness. कि अगर मेरे जैसे आदमी को भी जिंदगी में जगह मिलती है, तो the least I can do is same जगह मैं बाकी लोगों के लिए भी बनाऊँ. So I am okay and I am getting my proper. I am very grateful. I love in every sense to be of use to other people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.